Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about eating flesh. Yeah, you know, I couldn't understand people who eat flesh. Uh, I don't mean like a flesh of a goat or a cow or whatever. I mean human flesh, you know? And I'm gonna tell you a story when they fed me flesh without me knowing. And I was going to university in Australia, and I was renting a room with this like Chinese couple, and it was close to the university and whatnot, and the cheapest thing I could find and whatnot. And I remember when she did a walk around the, the house. They were renting a house, and she was renting a room to me and shared bathroom, right? So what these people did, she gave me a shelf, for to in the fridge, and she gave me a section in also in the freezer to put my food. And I remember when I bought groceries and stuff, and you know, I put it in the freezer. One time I bought lamb, and I ate like I made like I think it was, I don't know, a kilo or 2 kilos or whatever, and I had the butcher divided in half a kilo each, and I froze it in different bags or whatnot in my section. So I made, something like with lamb meat or whatnot, and that was fine. The taste was okay, and it was normal with what the lamb should taste like. And then I remember I opened another bag. It was like maybe a week later, and I made it. I grilled it like in. It wasn't grilled. It was like I put garlic and seasoning and whatnot, and I cooked it pretty good, right? I think in a pressure cooker and stuff, and it turned out to be good. But I remember when I taken the first bite. I remember when I've taken the first bite, the taste it tasted funny. It tasted like it's not. I thought the meat was going bad, but then I remember I had chicken and whatnot in the same freezer, whatnot. It tasted like chicken, so it didn't have this weird taste. And I remember I just didn't like the taste. I remember I was going to, one of my friends, and I was going to throw it out because I just didn't like the taste. Even though it's well seasoned, it was not like, it didn't have this like meaty or gamey meat, or, gamey taste. It tasted like pretty good. And then, I did realize that maybe these people had switched my meat, and Chinese people eat anything. You know what I mean? They eat freaking bats, they eat dogs and cats, and they eat anything, even human flesh. If you look at the China, that's why you shouldn't eat corned beef. Corned beef made in China, you should never eat it, because you're eating what? You know what? You're eating some Chinese ching chongs, and so anyhow, that I remember that happening and whatnot. I didn't really link the eating flesh. I didn't think they would do something like that. They would switch my meat. I remember when I ate. I ate like a couple of bites from that thing, and I couldn't finish it. Like I even the bite, I had to spit it out. I didn't just didn't like it. It tasted funny, you know. I don't know how to describe it to you guys. And so then a few weeks later happened. I remember waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning. I find this Chinese couple. Their room was next to mine. My room is like next to them, and there's an empty room on the right, left of me. Somebody else is renting that. I remember sometime because they didn't have AC or a fan or any of that. In the summer in Australia, it's very hot. It's really hot, and so I used to sleep with my door open. And I got it like a table fan, but even though it's a little muggy and hot, so I leave my window open and my door open, so it would circulate the air. And I remember waking up at like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I look, from the side of the bed. I see the husband is standing there with some sort of machine. It's like some sort of device. He's standing by the door, and he was pointing this device toward my bed. And I used to wake up with excruciating pain going through my body, and it's like I felt like I was coming down with something, and I feel like I was nauseous all day long and not feeling well. But and then when that started happening, I realized that these people are working for the enemy. They are working for the enemy, are attacking me during my sleep. And I started looking for a place. To move, and I remember a number of times I end up sleeping in my car. And on campus. Sometimes I go park in the campus because at night, well, they give you a card, right? You can park there anytime, even after hours. And I used to go and sleep in a lounge and stuff like that. Many lounges at this university, And it dawned on me, like, when I started seeing, Katy Perry promoting eating flesh, and all these celebrities eating, talking about eating kids, pizza. They call pizza is like flesh, and so anyhow, they're promoting that, and I said to myself, no way. These people didn't feed me flesh, and so I did a prayer over my stomach. And I said, I'm basically calling the Creator, the Infinite, and to undo all human flesh consumption, all only unholy meats, or they call them, like pigs, and so I named a bunch of things in that prayer. And if you've seen the movie, if you had seen the movie Bring Her Back, they Bring Her Back, where this kid's stomach started to kind of, move around, and because he was demonically possessed or whatever, this kid, and that's how my stomach started moving around, and I thought to myself, oh, what the hell. So I knew that moment, where these mother of F, had fed me flesh sometimes during my targeting. Yeah, and then they do a ritual. When you eat it, and then they do a ritual on your stomach, you know, because that's what they do. God bless them, you know. Anyhow, and then when my stomach started acting out, and then honestly, after I created that prayer, it was not after a meal or it's not related to something I've eaten. My stomach literally, guys, started moving around. You know, my intestines started like, you know, it felt like something's in there. I thought it's like something in there moving my intestines, you know? And something is like weird, you know? And so anyhow, that's what you guys need to do. You need to do, you always pray over your food, but also you have to create specific prayers to undo, you know, human flesh, pigs, you know, because, you know, pigs is human, right? You know that, right? Pigs and you know, pigs and some pigs and monkeys are cursed animals. They are Jews. There's a Zionist Jews being cursed by God. You know, pigs and monkeys, and then flesh. You know, eating flesh. You know. So I knew. It just kind of dawned on me. Like, oh, are you serious? So and then I started to recall about that meat I've eaten at this Chinese, you know, ching chongs, you know, back in Australia, you know. And that's what you guys need to do also. Do you need 144,000? You have to do a prayer, because they would have, okay, if they have access to your apartment or your house, they come in unannounced, and they could replace something in your fridge without you knowing. So you have to constantly, you know, you have to create maybe one prayer and make sure you run it in the background all the time, you know. And you run it in the background all the time, because these people eating our children, they will feed you flesh to hurt you, you know. And that's a reality, you know. They're sickos. So what do you expect? You know, they think it's normal to eat humans. Katy Perry saying, human meat is the best meat. So gross, you know. So anyhow, I have to admit I have eaten flesh unknowingly, because they messed up with my food. You know what I'm saying? So gross is very gross to yeah, it's very gross. These people are, you know, they're, yeah, you expect the worst coming from Satan's kids, you know. Satan kids are very crafty, and they're wicked. You name it. I can list a number of things here, you know. And you have to do, guys, a prayer to break the curse of eating flesh, eating pigs and eating monkeys, and because I don't know what else they're gonna feed you, you know, just you know, unclean animals. Think of it, unclean animals, and name the number of things that could be unclean, you know. And that's what you pray for, to break the curse, you know, on your stomach, because your stomach associated with solar plexus. You know, solar plexus is your like magnetic field exists, you know, and that's what they attack. Anyhow, the other thing I wanted to talk about is also they use Morgellons. So I'm like at my sister place, they've been like spreading my nose and stuff, and my throat and stuff. And Morgellons spreads, You know, this membrane and Morgellons, or they call them black goo, mucus spread throughout your body, and that's how they use witches, wizards to attack you. They use they use when you attack with radiation, they send it through your Morgellons in your body, because it's already in your vessel. They have to just tap into it.